right, welcome. Thanks for joining me. This will be about a 30-minute gentle yoga session with a little bit of focus on tight hips and our hip flexors. I like to have lots of props with me in class, at least maybe some blocks, a blanket, and a bolster. We'll have lots of different options we can use. We always want to be mindful. We are staying away from any sharp pain, anything that feels too uncomfortable. It's good to feel stretching and sensation, but any sharp pain, any tingling, anything that really hurts, we want to stay away from. It's good to remember what's good for one person is not always good for another. It might feel really good to one person and someone else it might not, it might hurt them. So just take anything I say and do as a suggestion and really listen to your own body more than you listen to me. We can start in a comfortable seat, whatever that might look like for you. Sometimes it's nice to have your feet out in front, crisscross applesauce. Sometimes it's nice to be up on knees, up on a bolster, like sitting up on a blanket. But wherever space we find, we want to be able to press down into those sit bones. And then from that pressing down, we're able to sit nice and tall. We have our head stacked over our shoulders stacked over our hips. And let's just let our hands rest wherever they fall. And let's take a few moments to close our eyes. And just let ourselves check in with where we're at today, how our body is feeling. It might feel good to take a few big, deep inhales here in through your nose. And go ahead and sigh out your mouth. Really taking this time to set aside anything you had going on before class, anything you have going on after. We can leave all that at the door and pick it up when we're finished. And let's take a few moments and scan over our body here from head to toe. Just noticing any areas that feel a little bit tight, any areas that feel loose and warm today. And let's bring awareness into our breath. And if you haven't done so already, we'll begin to take our breath here deep into our belly. Really engaging our diaphragm here as we breathe. That is our main breathing muscle. And we can and we sometimes do, and it's okay to breathe up in our chest, but our main way to breathe should really come deep into our belly. Feeling the belly button rise, the rib cage open, the breath all the way up to the chest. And with the exhale, feel the chest drop, your rib cage contract, and your belly button draw into your spine. And let's just take a few rounds of this big, deep belly breath. Moving at your own pace. Just noticing. Sometimes it can be helpful to attach a count, counting how long you inhale and then counting your exhale. Sometimes it's nice to attach a simple mantra. Even I breathe in and I breathe out. For a moment, let's release control of our breath, bring our hands to heart center. Just take notice of the space you've just created. And from this space, if there's an intention you'd like to set for the class, this can be your time. Maybe this is something you'd like to send out. Maybe this is something you'd like to bring in. Or maybe it's just to stay present with your breath throughout class. And we're gonna go ahead and begin by letting our hands now fall onto our knees. We can blink our eyes open. And we're gonna start by just taking a few circles. We're gonna start at our belly button here and just starting to take it in a small circle. And these circles can stay small, or if you'd like, you can begin to bring them bigger. Arching your back as you go back. And inhaling, your heart shining forward. Or soupy circles, or sometimes I like to think stirring the pot. And let's pause and come back to a nice tall neutral spine. And we'll begin those circles again, starting with the belly button, this time in the opposite direction. So starting just small. And then if it feels good, maybe slowly taking the circles a little bit bigger. And we'll come back to neutral, a nice tall spine. We are going to be sitting a little bit longer, so if you're crisscross, feel free to switch your legs, or if you need to adjust, go ahead and do that anytime that you'd like. We'll start by taking one hand out to the side. And we'll take an inhale. And exhale, gently let your head fall to the opposite shoulder. And next, we're going to add just a little bit of movement here as we bring our gaze down. We're going to take our palm to face the ground or maybe the back of the room, rotating this shoulder in as the gaze comes down. And then with an inhale, let's open back up, opening the shoulder, opening the heart, taking the gaze up. And go ahead and gently move here back and forth a few times with your own breath. Nice and slow, nice and easy. Feel free to pause anywhere you feel needs just a little bit more time. And we're going to pause here, let this hand come in. Take our chin down to our chest, over to the opposite side now, letting your ear fall to your shoulder. That shoulder can relax down towards the mat. We'll take our opposite hand out to the side. And again, as we bring our gaze down gently, we'll roll that shoulder in. And inhaling up and open. And we can go ahead and let that hand come back into the lap. Let's let our chin come down to our chest. Inhale, slowly lift your gaze all the way up to the ceiling. Let's let our shoulders roll back. And we'll inhale back to center. We're going to keep working our way down towards our hips. The next exercise we will do kind of a little washing machine. We'll start on the gentle cycle and work our way up. And this is just going to get some movement and blood flowing here in our spine, very gentle twisting. And we're going to start by just bringing a hand to each opposite shoulder, taking hold of those shoulders, letting your hands here hang heavy. Just let's take a couple breaths here. And then we'll take an inhale here at center. And with the exhale, go ahead and take a gentle twist. Inhale back to center. And exhale, twist. And most of the twist here is just coming up with our shoulders, up in this upper part of our body. And this time, let's take the gaze in the opposite direction. So as the body goes one way, take your gaze over the opposite shoulder. And then next, we're going to take it a little bit bigger. Let your hands slide down to your elbows. This one's going to give us just a little bit more freedom. We'll take a big inhale again at center. And exhale, gently twist. Go ahead and take your head with the twist these first few times. And next, let's take our gaze now opposite. And let's come back to center. And now we're going to take our washing cycle here a little bit bigger. So let's take our hands here all the way out. Like we're holding a big ball here, making a big circle. We'll take our inhale here. And exhale, go ahead and twist. And you may notice here as we progress, you're able to take your twist just a little bit further. And then let's take a couple, taking our gaze now opposite. And last one here, Mondo low, we're washing our comforters. You gotta come out wide. We'll take a big inhale and exhale. And then just two more times, taking our gaze now opposite. And we can go ahead and release our arms down. They're going to want to shake out a little bit after all of that. And let's take some shoulder rolls, inhaling our shoulders up to our ears, exhale back down and around. And let's take them in the opposite direction. And then let's bring one forward and one back. And making this swimming motion. And go ahead and again switch directions. And we can go ahead and release. And let's just let our hands rest a moment here. Close your eyes, take a couple breaths. And next we are going to transition briefly onto our hands and our knees, and then down onto our bellies. I know you always have some options as you come onto your hands and your knees. I like to have a blanket for a little bit of extra support. And if being on your knees, even with a blanket, is like, no, that doesn't feel good for me. You can actually do a lot of the same stuff just simply on your back. So bringing your knees into your chest for child's pose, just simply doing an Apanasana, and still taking the movements, the same movements with your arms and your legs, just simply on your back instead of your hands and your knees. So just know that there's lots of options to do if something is just not feeling good for you. But if this does feel okay, we're just going to spend a little bit of brief time in our tabletop. I always take a few moments and be mindful. I'm spreading my hand out, trying to press through the whole surface area of my hand so my wrist isn't taking all of the weight. Wrists beneath shoulders, knees beneath hips. With an inhale, go ahead and let your belly drop, lifting your gaze and your hips. And with the exhale, rounding your spine, lifting your belly button up to the ceiling. And go ahead and move here with your own breath, flowing between cat-cow. And feel free to add any extra movements that you might feel called to. Maybe making C's with your side body, wagging your tail, circling your hips. Feel free to take a little bit of time to explore. Then we can come back to a neutral spine here. And next, we're going to lower all the way down onto our bellies. So you can slide any props you might have had out of the way. We're going to begin to take a few stretches here to get into the front side of our hips. And then also a little bit here on the inside into our adductors as well. So first we're just going to come down onto our belly. Options with your hands, you can have them stacked and you can rest your forehead, or you can rest your forehead on a blanket on the mat and it brings your arms beside you. Take your head to the side. Lots of different options on what's going to feel best. And once you find yourself in a nice comfortable position, we're simply going to put a bend into one of our legs. Take your gaze down to the mat. And if you'd like to add a little bit more, you can take your gaze then opposite. Another option, if you're still looking for a little bit more, would be to prop yourself up a little bit and go ahead and reach back for that foot. So you have lots of different options. You can be laying flat, just with the knee bent. Maybe your knee is up here. That's okay too. You can take your gaze opposite. You can have yourself propped up a little bit, and you can even reach back for your foot. We can go ahead and release that. And then let's just lay completely flat for a moment, letting your whole back body relax. Then we'll go ahead and move on to the opposite side now, putting a bend into that other knee. Staying here, keeping your gaze towards that knee, maybe taking it opposite. Maybe propping up and reaching back. And we'll go ahead and release again, lay completely flat, let your whole back body relax. And next we're gonna come back to that opposite side and we're gonna slide our knee up towards our waist. And there's varying degrees here. You can keep your leg a little bit lower. Maybe you are able to bring it all the way up to your waist. We can keep our gaze towards this knee. Or if you'd like to take it a little bit further, you can take your gaze opposite. If you're opposite, inhale back to center. Slowly lower that leg back down and move on to the opposite side. Again, keeping your gaze towards that knee or maybe taking it opposite. And we'll bring our gaze back to center. Let's slowly bring that leg back down. And then for a couple moments, let's bend both knees and let them windshield wiper side to side. Let's go ahead and release that. Bring your hands beneath your shoulders. You can inhale to press back up into table. And let's drop back into a child's pose, letting your arms reach long here, your hips sinking back towards your heels, feeling your breath deep into your back body. And let's inhale back up to table. We'll do next a little bit of balancing and strength building and extending with some bird dogs. Again, if this does not feel good, you are able to hop here on your back. And you can do this same thing. And by reaching your arms, you can take your legs out, or you can just take your legs up here too. So lots of different options. But if it feels okay, go ahead and flip over onto your hands and knees. Know if this ever feels a lot on your wrists, you can take a bite of your mat, double it over for a little bit of extra support, or you can even come up onto your fists. But let's take a step back here with our right foot, pressing the ball of the foot into the mat, and just rock forward and back a couple times here. Option to stay here with this foot down, or if you'd like, you can add a lift, pressing the heel towards the back wall. Both hands here can stay down, or you can take the opposite hand forward. Lots of options. You can stay here. You can do this with just your foot. You can use just your hands. Reach long with both. Stay here, or inhale to reach. Exhale to come in. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale in. Next time you're out, let's pause here. And for a couple moments, maybe you have an awkward airplane, sending your arm and your leg out to the side. Inhale back to center, lower back down. We're going to move right over onto the next side. Taking the left foot back, pressing into the ball, rocking forward and back. Keeping that foot down, or if you'd like, go ahead and press the heel back. Again, keeping both arms down, or maybe reaching the opposite forward. And inhaling here to lengthen, and then bringing both, or just your arm and your leg in. Next time we reach long, pause here. Awkward airplane, bring the arm and the leg out to the side. Come back in, lower down, let's take a child's pose. With an inhale, you can slowly come to rise. And whatever way feels best for you, next, slowly and mindfully, let's come all the way up to stand. And once we come to stand, we're going to first just find a nice balanced Tadasana. So we'll start by bringing awareness into our feet. I like to lift my toes, spread them back down. And think if there's a rectangle on the bottom of your foot, we're pressing down evenly through all four corners. I like to try to remember to keep my load-bearing joints. We have 8 of them, keeping them stacked, head over heart, heart over hips, hips over heels. Let your hands rest at your sides. And if you'd like for a moment, close your eyes. Take a moment to check in with your body, notice any sensations, any areas that maybe feel a little bit different from when you walked in. And with our hands to heart center, we can step to the top of our mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Take a step back with your right foot. Those toes can land out to about 45 degrees. Your feet can be kind of out as if you were on railroad tracks. We want to stay very balanced. And I like to think if I had headlights shining from my hips, they're both going to be shining forward. I'm going to bring awareness first into my front knee. I'm going to take an inhale here. And with the exhale, I'm going to go ahead and bend. Being mindful my knee is staying stacked right over my heel, staying right in line with my middle toes, not letting it come in or out. So just here moving with your breath, slow and mindful movements. Next time you find yourself with a bend in this knee, we're going to pause here. And you might be feeling a nice stretch here along your hip flexor. If this is enough for you, you can stay right here. Or if you'd like, maybe let's take that right hand, reach it up to the ceiling. Again, option to stay right here. Or if you'd like, we can inhale to lengthen. Exhale, very gentle side bend. Inhale back up. Exhale, bend. And one more time, inhale up. Exhale, very gentle bend. Inhale up. Bring your hand back down to your hip. Let's step that foot in. Shake it out a little bit. Maybe notice the difference you feel from one hip to the next. And then we'll take a step back now with that opposite foot. Again, foot landing out about 45 degrees. We're going to bring awareness into this front knee. Our knee and our toes are always facing in the same direction. Our hips here for our warrior one are shining forward. We'll take an inhale and exhale, gently bend. And you might notice one side feels differently than the other, and that's very common. We all have different patterns, different habits, different injuries. Next time you find yourself with a bend in this knee, let's pause here. Hands on our hips, nice strong warrior one. Again, staying here. Or reaching now that left arm up to the ceiling. Staying right here, grounding down through both feet. Or if you'd like, inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, gentle bend. Inhale back up tall. This hand can drop down to our hip. We can step that foot forward, shake it out a little bit. And then again from the top of the mat, we are going to do a little balance and a hip strengthening exercise here, doing a little bit of clockwork. We can just keep our hands here resting on our hips, and we're going to imagine there were the numbers of the clock all around us here, 12 coming all the way around, 6 behind us. And we're going to go ahead and tap each number. 6 with one leg, 6 with the other. So we'll start here with the 1, come back in, 2, come back in, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Keep going now, switch feet, 7, and maybe you need to watch. 8. Or maybe you can keep your gaze forward. Maybe try a little bit of both to see how it feels. 11, 12. And we're going to do that one more time. Option, again, to just do the taps, or if you'd like to challenge yourself a little bit, you can keep this leg that's coming around the numbers lifted. So again, we'll start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll switch now to 7, 8, 9. So strengthening here all of these muscles. 11 and 12. All right, and we can shake that out. And next we're going to come all the way down on the mat, and we are going to start on our side. This is a hip glide, so this is really going to lengthen here our whole side body. So a few options. We'll want to start kind of propped up here. If we're going to be propped up, be mindful your elbow and your shoulder here are staying in line. We're not dumping in. We're going to have this bottom leg bent at about 90 degrees, and this top leg is going to be long. This top arm, we're going to go ahead and bring it around our head. Maybe that hand can come to the ear. With our inhales, we are going to bring the heel and the elbow away from each other. And exhale, gently come back in. And this might not be a very big movement, and that's okay. Just slow and controlled here with your own breath. And we can come back to neutral. Go ahead and release and switch sides. So either rolling over or flipping around. Again, setting yourself up, propping up on your forearm, being mindful your shoulder and your elbow are staying here right in line. We're staying strong. Bottom leg out front at about 90 degrees. This top leg again out long. Arm will reach over the head, hand maybe coming to the ear. Inhaling to lengthen. And exhale in. And one more time. Come back to neutral. And from here, we are going to come all the way down onto our backs. We'll maybe want to have a blanket handy. And it's gonna feel good here to bring your knees into your chest. Take a gentle rock side to side. And we can lower here both knees down. And let's take a full body stretch, interlacing the hands, reaching them long, pointing your toes. Maybe stretching out one side and then the other. And then from here, let's bring one of our knees here into our chest. Give it a gentle squeeze. So we're lengthening here now in this opposite hip flexor. And some options if you want to go a little bit deeper in this posture, and you might be feeling a great stretch right here. This might be great. You can pop up with a blanket. Bring it right to your lower back, kind of supports your sacrum. This can be done with a bolster also. A bolster is going to be a lot more intense. It's good to start with a blanket. And the cool thing with the blanket is you can have all these different levels with it. You can start with just a little bit extra, and you can build it up. So we would go ahead and take that, supporting our hips, keeping that one leg long, bringing the other knee in. This is going to give us a little bit more of a stretch in this bottom leg. And let's go ahead and switch. And we can lower this leg down. Keep our knees bent. If you have anything underneath, go ahead and lift up and remove it. Slide it out of the way. And let's bring both knees here into the chest. Gentle rock side to side. And we can go ahead and bring the soles of our feet back down to the mat. So you can let your arms rest beside you. You can let them rest on your heart and your belly. I sometimes see people like to cross their arms, maybe cover up with a blanket. This is a great place for a bolster beneath your knees. For our final here, Shavasana, anything you'd like to do to make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable? And we're going to take this time now to let our bodies relax. We are done doing all of the work. And let's take one more body scan here from head to toe. Again, taking note of any areas that feel loose and fluid and warm, and any areas that you might still be holding. And see if you can, with your inhales, direct your breath into this area. And with the exhale, gently release. Maybe taking a couple big inhales in through your nose. And sighing out through your mouth. And then completely releasing control of your breath. You know, you can always stay in Shavasana as long as you need. You can do just Shavasana for a whole class. But if you're ready, you can begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Circle your wrists and your ankles. Maybe roll away a bolster if you used it at all. And let's roll over onto our left side, taking a few moments to pause. And then using your arms to assist you, gently press back up into a comfortable seat. As you get there, again, maybe closing your eyes, bringing your hands to heart center, taking a few moments to come back to our breath. And if you chose to set an intention, bring yourself back to your intention. All right, and thank you for sharing this time with me. Namaste.